well, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're doing the Detroit Lions mock-off season. Yep, we're back to have some fun. Now, I know y'all see it. What? Motor City Dan Campbell, are you kidding me? Hey, y'all like it? MCDC, you know, like ACDC, come on now. And then we got the Dan Campbell thing. It's on the Dodge shop right now if you guys want to check it out. I think it looks pretty clean. I do. I think it looks pretty, and it's also very comfy. It's actually, see, it's usually cold up here. I'm kind of sweating a little bit. That's a good thing. Hood not included. Actually, no, that's wrong. There is a hood included. I'm just wearing a different one. Because you see the style I got going here? Like, it's just a fashion statement, you know? All right, I don't know why I did that. All right, so here we're doing a little bit of a Lions mock-off season. Now, I actually already finished the mock-off season, and I'm going to kind of go through the moves that I made with you guys. So this video should be a little bit shorter than our usual mock-off seasons because I already did it, so I'm just going to explain what I did. So let me know if you guys like this better or if you like it where I, you know, show you everything and I do it live on the video or a stream better. Those usually take a lot longer, but who knows? I do over-explain things at times. All the time. I'm sorry, I don't know why I do that. But let's just take a look at this. Now, I was thinking to myself, okay, try to be realistic. But then I thought, like, what really is realistic? You know, like, half the time we have no idea what's going to happen, right? So, I don't know what's realistic. I don't know what's not realistic, okay? So, I'm just going to use the simulators that are there and just use them like they are. Now, I was realistic in this sense, so you guys should be thankful, okay? Don't be mad at me, all right? I didn't break the system, but look. I actually tried to fix the system. As you can see, your cap space, $25.7 million. That's a lot of money. I shouldn't have that much money. So this salary cap, manage the cap free agency is messed up. It has the Lions with $16 million in cap space before you even start making cuts, which is wrong. Also, some of their player contracts are wrong. So I try to be realistic in the sense that the players that I cut, I added it up to what it would actually be in real life. And I didn't even look at the $16 million that they gave me to start with. All right, so I got to about $37 million in total, which means I saved about $22 million in free agency after the cuts that I made. I cut the usuals, you know, Christian Jones, Nick Williams. I didn't cut Danny Shelton because, well, one, I just didn't cut him, but two, I really can't on this simulator because it makes me lose money. I guess I could have, but I didn't. I didn't cut Danny Shelton. I did cut Desmond Trufant. I cut Jesse James. I cut Chase Daniel. So kind of the usual guys that we cut, and then, you know, I let basically everybody walk in free agency except for, as you can see, Romeo Okwara. Now, Romeo Okwara, it says $3 million cap hit. I did pay him more than that. It's just the guaranteed money, so the cap hit's only $3 million. I think Romeo would probably get more money than what I actually paid him. But for some reason on this simulator, he doesn't get paid that much. Maybe he doesn't make that much. Maybe he takes less to play with his brother again. All these things are possible. I still do expect him to get more. So what I did here is I saved a little extra money. So that way, you know, if you would have gotten a little bit more, it could be realistic because I could have gave him a little bit more money. I saved about $10 million. I saved about $10 million for the draft and just some extra money to have, just to try to keep it realistic. So it says 25, but I'm just acting as this I only have 10. So if I need a little bit more money to throw to Romeo, I could have. I also signed, as you can see, Anthony Walker. He has a $3 million cap hit. I signed Anthony Walker to a 3-year deal. I signed Romeo to a 3-year deal. I signed Marcus Williams, the safety, out of New Orleans. Now, Marcus Williams coming off a tremendous season with the New Orleans Saints, so he's familiar with Aaron Glenn. He is their free safety. The Lions are losing Duron Harmon, the vet safety, in free safety. Now, Duron Harmon, there wasn't that many good players on Lions defense last year, but he was pretty solid. So I was thinking about getting him back, but you know what? I was just like, you know what? At a point, because, you know, I couldn't get him super cheap, I'm just going to spend a little bit extra money to go get a better player in Marcus Williams that is also younger, that's familiar with Aaron Glenn. He could take, you know, a little bit less money to play here. So I got him actually way more than a $3.75 million cap hit, but again, that's probably because of guarantees and stuff. I got him on a 3-year deal, so he's locked up for 3 years, which means he lines up with Will Harris. So that's pretty cool, and he's a really good safety. He's a big upgrade there. So that allows me to not worry about that in the draft because I kind of want a vet in the back end, and Marcus Williams is really good, and the Lions really need to fix the back. I mean, their defense as a whole is really bad. So I just like, hey, I'm going to go get a playmaker, a core guy, as Dan Campbell said, and that was Marcus Williams. And finally, I signed Kendrick Bourne, the wide receiver from San Francisco. He came on last year, had a good year. I think he had nearly 700 receiving yards. He's not like super flashy or anything like that, but he's very reliable target that has size to play on the outside or inside. So I knew I needed at least one weapon. I tried to get Reynolds, but he wouldn't come. So I got Kendrick Bourne a little bit cheaper on a 3-year deal. So I looked up guys here for multiple years, but that's it. I only made 4 signings in free agency, so I saved money for the draft. Now, the draft is wild, okay? I know it's wild, but it's what the simulator let me do. So, I mean, it wasn't trying to break the system. I just took what was there. And, you know, I tried to jump up at times in the draft. I tried to jump up at one point to get Nico. I couldn't do that. But you'll see it. All right, let's get right into it. Let's check it out, and I'll explain everything that went down. All right, so those are the 4 players we got, which leaves us with the needs of course, more receivers, because I only have 1. That gives us Geronimo, Quintez Cephas, and Kendrick Bourne. So that's the starting point, but we need more because I let all the other guys walk. Kenny walked, Marvin walked, Danny Amendola walked, Agnew walked. So I needed more, right? I needed more receivers there. Also, you know, I want a running back, and AP walked. So I only have Kerryon and Swift under contract, so running back's going to be a need in the draft. Also, cornerback depth. Because I cut Desmond Trufant, I have Justin, I have Jeff, I have Amani, but I wanted some cornerback depth, so that'll be a look in the draft. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, also linebackers. How'd I forget? I signed Anthony Walker, who can play inside. Not the best in coverage. But I think he is improving year by year. He's actually, he's not bad in coverage. He's just not very good at it. It's like, he's like okay, but he's actually way better against the run. He was a great partner with Darius Leonard with the Indianapolis Colts, and I thought, hey, I'll bring him to Detroit. You know, he's set to become a free agent. He's still young, and he could be here for a while. But I do need linebackers to put around him. So, okay, that's kind of the needs heading in the draft. Let's see how the draft went. Using the PFN mock draft simulator, here's how it went. All right, I'm going to explain that, and it looks crazy. I'm going to explain it. So, number 26, Zaven Collins. I actually traded back twice here. So I first traded back with the New England Patriots. I traded back with New England for pick 114 and pick 145. All right, and 15. So it wasn't like I got this giant monster return. I got like I think they're both day 3 picks. 114 might be a 3rd round, but I think they're both day 3 picks, like 4th, 5th round picks. So I got 2 of those, and I got their 15th pick in the draft. So I was like, okay, they jumped in to get Trey Lance. I was sitting at 7. I had, I think, the option to take Devontae Smith, but that was really it. I mean, I didn't really know what else to do there, and I was like, I can wait a little bit. I can wait just a little bit here, so I'll see who falls. So I go to 15. I'm sitting at 15, and then I get an offer. Now, I get an offer from the Cleveland Browns, who offer me actually a pretty good deal. They gave me pick 186, another late-round pick. I think that was a 6th-round pick. They gave me 26 because they jumped up there, and also 59. So they gave me an extra day 2 pick, and I was like, all right, I'll take that. So I moved back again, and when I moved back again, Zaven Collins was still available. Micah was obviously gone. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was gone, and Zaven is linebacker I really like. He's got size. He can stop the run. He can help in pass coverage, and he's got, like I said, he's like 6'4", 260. So I really like him. He can play the outside linebacker position. So I was like, okay, I'll get Zaven, pair him with Anthony Walker. I think that's a nice pairing. So I got him at 26. Then we go to the 2nd round. Now, since I had all these picks, and because of who was available at number 41, I made the decision to go after a running back. Javonte Williams, to me, could be argued as a top 3 running back in this class. He is incredible, and he also can give you that short area run, which DeAndre Swift really doesn't give you. He's 220 pounds. He can run with his power. He can run guys over. He actually had the most broke tackles last season at 75. And he also is a threat in space. So I was like, okay, I don't have Adrian Peterson. I don't really have a goal line threat. Javonte can give me that. I'll pair him with Swift, and we still have Kerryon as my 3rd running back. He can be, you know, the pass protector guy he kind of was last year. So that moves me to 59, where I needed a receiver. And I was waiting. You know, I was cautious that I needed to jump up if I had to because I had picks, but I fell to 59, and Terrence Marshall stayed available. He's an outside threat for LSU. LSU puts out really good receivers. We know that. And Marshall, I think he kind of goes under the radar. But knowing I got Kendrick Bourne, I really don't have another outside threat. So I wanted to get an outside threat. To me, that was Terrence Marshall. So I jumped on it. Sorry, I think my Discord's going crazy there. So then that moves me to number 72, and 72, we know we have 2 3rd-round picks this year. 72, I selected Rashad Weaver. Kind of strange. This is like the mock we just reacted to. This one was a tough one. I sat there for a while. I pondered this decision to select Rashad Weaver, but I ultimately decided to. See, I cut Christian Jones, right? And Rashad Weaver is very similar in size, and I was thinking, okay, I don't really want him dropping back in coverage too often, but I kind of need someone there to play kind of that outside role, and he can also help me stop the run, which we really don't have a great run stuffer out there because, I mean, you look at a guy like Julian, kind of how I explained it last thing, we don't really have a run stopper if Julian can't be that guy. So I was like, okay, I'll get some more depth. So now we have our front 7, you know, we have Zaven, you have Anthony Walker, and you add Rashad Weaver to that. Like, that's pretty solid. I kind of can get that, and he doesn't need to be, you know, every every down right away, which is kind of nice. I kind of ease him into things. So that moves to 88, our second third-round pick. I selected Dwayne Eskridge. Again, another guy we talked about today. Kind of weird how this worked out. But Dwayne Eskridge, the wide receiver out of Western Michigan, super fast. I needed that speedy slot guy. I didn't have one. I had Terrence Marshall and I have Kendrick Bourne. I need a guy that can get some speed, get some separation. To me, that was Dwayne Eskridge. He can bump down to the slot. He could be Amendola's replacement. Plus, he could be my kick returner, as I did not bring back Jamal Agnew. So perfect pick, perfect value. I like it. Third round. I thought it worked out perfectly. Watch this. Boom. Rodarius Williams. I promise I did not try to make this like the one we reacted to. It's just how the board fell. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll take it. So I take a cornerback here. So I have Okuda, I have Amani, I have Coleman, and I decided to take Rodarius Williams. Now, Williams, he's going to be probably an outside cornerback. That's why I selected him. But, you know, again, the brother of Greedy Williams. He's a man-heavy corner. I don't know what kind of defense line he's looking to play, but I knew I needed some depth. And again, he's not someone that I need production out of right away, but he can add competition. And, you know, if he's not 100% ready right away, that's fine. I'll let him grow. But I knew I needed some depth there. And with Rodarius Williams falling, it was either him or Ambry Thomas, and I felt like Williams gave me the best value. That moves me to 114, which is another pick I acquired from the Patriots, I think. And I selected Kellen Mond. He was the top player, I think, available on the board at the time, at least according to this. I considered other options heavily, but I ultimately decided to go with Kellen Mond because I said, okay, I cut Chase Daniel, so I don't have a backup quarterback. I like Kellen Mond. He can add competition for Goff, and I think potentially in 2 years, this guy could push for a starting role. I'm not counting him out. I'm not saying he will, but I like that. It's a strong backup. Great in the Senior Bowl. He was the MVP. I've liked Kellen Mond for a while now. I put a video on him like months ago where we were talking about Kellen Mond. So that was my dude. All right. When he fell there, and I was like, this is my dude. I'm taking him. And I knew I had extra picks to add some help. And I was looking at the draft board because I was considering passing on Kellen Mond and taking Nico, because I think Nico was also available at 114. But I went with the quarterback. Then as the draft kind of trickled down, it got to like 126, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, Nico's still available. He's the top available. I think I'm going to try to jump up. However, I decided against that. I decided, you know what? I'm not going to trade up here. I will actually take that back. I did try to trade up. I just didn't have enough to give up. I didn't want to give up too many late round picks because I didn't want to be stuck with like, oh, I can't get enough positions filled out. So I waited. Unfortunately, I tried to trade up with the Browns, make another trade with them at 126. They declined, and I could not make that happen because I didn't want to give up too much. So I waited till 140, and the best receiver left for me was Sage Surratt. Again, another guy we talked about this morning, but he's an outside threat. So we got Sage Surratt, which is nice. Kendrick Bourne, Terrence Marshall, Dwayne Eskridge. I feel like we have really nice depth there with Quintez Cephas and Allison. That's good competition. I like it. I'm like, man, the receiver group looks solid. It's pretty much complete at this point for the future as well. That moves me to 152. Now, I was hoping Marvin Wilson would fall here. He did not. So 152, I took Jalen Twyman. He is a defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. He will, reunite with Rashad Weaver. Thought that was great. But what he does is he gets after the quarterback. And I was thinking, okay, I cut Nick Williams. I have Shelton. But if we do play a 4-3, if we want a pass rushing interior defense lineman, he's 290 pounds. Who is that going to be? I thought I got the best one here at where I was available. He had like 11 sacks, I think, last season, something like that. But either way, this is a guy that can get after the quarterback. He's not extremely polished against the run. That's kind of where he struggles. He's also not big enough to play, a nose tackle position. So it's very scheme dependent here. But I do like his ability to get after the quarterback. The potential he has to get after the quarterback and be a pass rushing interior player. So I selected him at 152, and I thought that gave us some depth there, losing out on Nick Williams. I was like, okay. So that moves me to 184, and I had to get some offensive line depth because I haven't yet. So I went with Alaric Jackson. Now, Alaric Jackson, he played in the Senior Bowl. He was the tackle for Iowa. Loved his power. This guy has tremendous power. He's actually from Detroit, if I'm not mistaken, so that's pretty awesome. That's kind of where I think he played high school in Detroit, something like that. He's from Detroit, though, I know that. So I was like, okay, return to Detroit, come back with the Lions. So I grabbed Alaric, and that could be one of the things where, okay, maybe Terrell next year, I think Terrell's on his last year this season, I think. Maybe. So this could be your future tackle, potentially. This could be your next Terrell Crosby. I don't know how confident they are with Big V. So, with injuries, things like that, if Big V wants to bump to guard, now you have a backup at tackle for Crosby. I thought, okay, this is a nice backup. And I ended off with Trey Brown. I went with another cornerback here out of Oklahoma. He needs some work. He didn't have the best Senior Bowl practices, but what I like about him is he can press. He also has the size to bump the slot, and he's at his best in press. So that makes me feel I could put him in slot, and he could be the eventual replacement for Justin Coleman. I think he has the chance to do that. Ambry Thomas, those guys weren't available. I thought he was the best left, so I took him because of his ability to press and because of his size. He has speed. He's a tremendous press corner. Everything else, he needs some work. But some of the other issues I had with big corners were that they had a lot of penalty issues. He doesn't really have that too much, and his ability to get up and play man-to-man, I felt like, okay, maybe I have another options here. So I had two cornerbacks potentially for the future. Added one offensive lineman for depth. I got Jalen Twyman for a potential pass rushing DT, who's going to also be coming in with Jayshon Cornell competition there. I got Sage Surratt, Dwayne Eskridge, and Terrence Marshall, 3 receivers. I landed Javonte Williams for a running back group, which I think we need a running back. Y'all know that. I added Zaven Collins, Rashad Weaver to the linebacker position with Anthony Walker. So, okay, maybe I could use one more linebacker, but we still have Jamie Collins. Okay, I didn't get cut or trade Jamie Collins. So we would have, if we went to a 4-3, you'd have Jamie Collins, Anthony Walker, and it could be Zaven Collins as your 3 linebackers. That's pretty nice. If you go to if you're playing 3-4, you can plug Tavai into the inside there because he's still under contract. I didn't bring Jared Davis back, so you can plug Tavai in the inside, and then that's your 3-4. And he's not super fast, so he'd be probably maybe better inside, maybe. And then the defensive line, you got Trey Flowers, Romeo Cora is back. You have Twyman potentially, and you have Danny Shelton there. So Jayshon Cornell's there, right? So you get a little bit of depth. Offensively, the receiver group looks good, running back looks good. You got a backup quarterback, and you got some depth at tackle. So I think it was overall a pretty solid draft. I know I got a lot of picks here, but I did go back from 7 to 26. That's a big loss. But I feel like Zaven Collins can be argued as the best linebacker in this class. Plus, he doesn't have those off-the-field concerns like Micah does. I like what he can do. He's got size. He can fly around. He can do both things. Maybe the competition's a little scary, a little concerning because he did play at Tulsa, but he's extremely talented, and I think this draft worked out very strong. So let me know what you guys think. I threw realism out the window because, hey, I don't know what Brad Holmes is going to do. And honestly, you know what? We kept it realistic in terms of the cap, which is all I can do. Other than that, I just use a simulator and see what it gives me. And, I think it is realistic. I couldn't make easy trades. I couldn't just jump up and take Nico when I wanted to. I had to sit and wait because I didn't have any offers. And I didn't want to give up future picks to make what I made happen because, I'm not going to give up, I'm giving up my next year's first. Okay, I wanted to try to keep those. So yeah, that's what the draft looks like. That's what free agency. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. But definitely a big overhaul. So here's kind of roughly what each position would look like. This doesn't equal the exact roster amount you need to have, but I thought I'd just put the names here so you guys can see it visually. Quarterback, Goff, Mon, and Blau. I like that group. Very young group. Running back, Swift, Williams, Johnson, Bawden. Kaminda is not under contract, so you could sign him back. I just left Bawden there. You could sign Kaminda and, cut Bawden if you want to. It'd probably be the exact same price. Wide receiver, Kendrick Bourne, Terrence Marshall, Dwayne Eskridge, Sage Surratt, Quintez Cephas, and Geronimo Allison. So there's your 6 wide receivers. Linebacker, Jamie Collins, Anthony Walker. We got another Collins there. Not Jamie Collins this time, but it's also Zaven Collins. Okay, for a second I was forgetting. So Zaven and Jamie. Jelani Tavai, Shane Hamilton, who we have been awarded, and Julian Okwara. And obviously you could add some depth to that. Defensive line, Trey Flowers, Romeo Cora, Danny Shelton, Jayshon Cornell, Twyman, Hand, and Pennicini. Just some of the big names for the defensive line. And you can see that's why I got Twyman, because there's not a lot of pass rushers. Maybe Hand. Hopefully Hand stays healthy, but I'm just a little worried about that. Cornerback, you have Amani, Okuda, Coleman, Williams, and Brown, the 2 guys that I drafted. Safety would be Williams, the big free agent signing, Tracy Walker, Will Harris, CJ Moore, tight end, TJ Hexon, Hunter Bryant, and offensive line would be Decker, Jonah, Frank, Logan, Big V, Terrell Crosby, Alark Jackson, Joe Dahl, and Russell Bodine. Now, I put this together just to try to make it maybe more realistic, but you can see my final moves here. Again, this isn't completely perfect. I just put random names on the sign side. So, Butt, Prater, Ragland, McCray, Darquise Denard, and Wilson. Maybe those are some options, but I was just looking for cheap options to fill out some needs. So, Butt would give you a 3rd tight end. Ragland would give you another linebacker. McCray and Denard. McCray could play special teams. He could be brought back for a cheap deal. Darquise Denard would give you another vet corner who played like 8 games last season. Tavon Wilson would give you another safety. So, that's just depth. Ragland's a depth linebacker. And then I put Matt Prater because I did forget to sign a kicker. Now, if we don't sign a kicker, we do have the guy that's on a future deal from Pittsburgh, but I signed Prater back. You could just, I guess you could let that kicker go or put him on a practice squad maybe. And then I cut, just a couple of names to cut. Dan Skipper, John Atkins, and Frank Heron. So I don't know. This is just, it's not completely accurate, but I just put a couple extra names on there just to make it, make sense. And also here's what I want to show you about the draft. So those are kind of what the rosters look like. But why did I save $10 million? Well, because $9.7 million would be roughly what I would spend on that draft class. So I did the numbers for each position on what they on average get paid for their contract. I would roughly be spending $9.7 million for just the draft alone. So the whole draft, $9.7 million for this season. So that's why I saved about 10. So that's why you got to save that money for the draft because, yeah, you got to pay those guys. You don't have to pay them all, but if we paid them all, it'd be roughly $9.7 million. So, yeah, mock off season. I don't know. I just had some fun with it. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you, bro, for watching, and I'm out.